Welcome, one and all, to the Intellectual Freedom Podcast, where we explore ideas that challenge the status quo, expand your perspective, and empower your mind. I'm your host, Dr. David Hopkins, humanities professor, and I invite you on a journey of thought-provoking conversations as I step out of the college classroom to discuss, analyze, and critique all aspects of culture, society, and politics that impact your life today and have the potential to reshape your future. So welcome to a podcast that stands for the power of intellectual exploration. Welcome to the Intellectual Freedom Podcast. Oh boy, this podcast is a challenging one that I should choose my words carefully. But actually, I think I'm going to be as direct and specific as I can be, knowing that as I'm talking about this, it's from a place of wanting everyone to grow from it. But if I'm honest, this topic ticks me off a bit. I'm pretty passionate about this specific idea as I'm a humanities professor and a student of history, because history and art and culture are cornerstones of humanistic exploration. But before I go where I need to go about what has me so annoyed today, I need you to understand something. I've screwed up royally in my life, time and time again. I say things I shouldn't say to people. I do things I shouldn't do to people. I don't do the things that I know I should be doing, and I annoyingly do this all the time. I sometimes feel guilty and ashamed and angry, and I get upset at my mistakes all the time. But I can tell you something with certainty. If such a thing exists as certainty, I would never, ever tell myself after I mess up, you know, all those bad things that you had done or thought or happened, just pretend like they never happened at all, David. Let's just gloss them over and blame something, anything for your mistakes. Or even better, let's just erase those bad and uncomfortable things from your mind altogether. Because, geez, it is really uncomfortable and to be bothered with those screw-ups. So, David, just pretend like they never happened, and life will be easier and you'll feel better about yourself. I mean, really. Such an avoidance mentality that would stunt my growth as a human being. I would be significantly more likely to repeat the same dumb decisions if I fail to recognize and embrace my failings. I mean, really, in my life and in your life, unless, of course, you've never done anything wrong or you've never had any evil or bad thoughts and you've lived just a perfectly wonderful life. You need to learn from your mistakes. It's part of life. Now, if you are one of those perfect people, this podcast really won't shed one little thing of value for you, and you should probably just stop listening right now. But listen. Here's a very hard fact that somehow our society as a whole needs to get over. History is not here for you to like or dislike. It is here for you to learn from it. And if it offends you, even better, because then you're less likely to repeat it. History is not yours to erase or destroy. The more hard and challenging and bad it is, the more we need to study it, the more we need to be reminded of it. So this brings me to the point of this particular podcast. I mean, this news isn't brand breaking news or anything. Many of you know it, or it's already happened. But a while back, a number of military installations, Fort Hood, a base that I actually served on with 1st Cav and 3rd Command, has been renamed to Fort Cavazos. And now I have no problems whatsoever with General Richard Edward Cavazos, who was the Army's first Hispanic 4-star general and a veteran of the Korean and the Vietnam Wars. I'm sure he served incredibly honorably, and I'm sure he was a great leader and a warrior and a general. It has nothing whatsoever to do with this guy, nothing at all. And I mean, from all accounts, he deserves incredible recognition and respect. My problem is this. The reason for changing the name which happened under Congress and the Biden administration and the Department of Defense. So Fort Hood was originally named after General Hood, and he was a Confederate general. So that right there pretty much tells you why the name name change had to happen, at least per the DOD. That kowtowed to Biden and to Congress. But General Hood, he was a bold tactician. He was a brilliant strategist. He was a courageous warrior, a real soldier's soldier. But General Hood, now about 150 years after his death, has become a second casualty to the broader effort to remove Confederate names from military bases. So DC, as they tend to get swept up in every little cultural gyration as they prostitute for votes, set up this congressional commission to battle racism and, of course, the modern American military, with leaders that parrot Congress, decided the name of bases was of paramount national security and invested time and energy to change the name of any fort with a Southern general during the Civil War, because, of course, that would be a brilliant and very effective solution to confront racial injustice and inequity in its ranks. I mean, what better way to combat racism than to change the name and history of a military fort? I mean, the changes in racial harmony in the military since the name change, I'm sure, have been profound. I'm sure you can feel it all around you. I mean, do I sound a bit sarcastic and insensitive? Do I sound uncaring? Or in our cancel culture, some might even say I sound racist. Well, here's the deal, guys and gals. Your feelings about history don't matter. Neither do mine. Does anyone, anywhere, honestly think that tearing down a statue, renaming a military base, destroying a history book will do anything at all to dissuade a dirty racist from being racist in 2023 and beyond? Of course not. Do you think having a military base name change will right the wrongs of the horrific injustices of slavery that plagued the nation during the 17th to the 18th century? Do you think the KKK or any extremist racist group is going to change how they feel because the name on a fort was changed or a statue somewhere is brought to the ground? If anyone actually thinks this, well, maybe what you need to do is sort of reevaluate if anything has changed in racial relations since these forts were renamed or historical monuments have been removed or destroyed. Slavery and the near obliteration of the American Indians, and let's not forget the Mexicans having massive swaths of land in the Southwest taken, are some of the most embarrassing, and they're the darkest ethical moments in our history. I wish they never would have happened. But they did happen. The way to ensure that they never ever happen again is not to erase the remnants of the Confederacy, slavery, or colonization, but to understand them, remember them, and to analyze them so they don't happen again. This would be the greatest honor we can ever give to those who suffered and died under the harsh yoke of slavery or colonization. This is the greatest honor we can give to those today that still feel the sting of racism, to remember it and take it to heart. This fort name change thing, it's child's play. It's adults doing things that are impotent and ineffective. Bureaucrats and weak-minded DOD officials and lame politicians pretending and parroting what they have done for racial justice, when in fact it's all smoke, it's all mirrors, it's all silliness. Congress, the Department of Defense renaming an army base to remove the Confederacy from memory will do literally nothing. Nothing. There's a cancerous drive for pain avoidance in our culture today. Anything we don't agree with, anything that makes us feel bad, anything that reminds us of our past hurts or embarrasses us or society today, we just want to erase it or bury it or suppress it so we don't even deal with it. The idea that we should just throw under the rug all the bad things is nothing more than pain avoidance. Sort of like taking painkillers to mask a real health problem. Sure, the painkiller can make you feel better temporarily, but in the end, you still have the same underlying problem if you don't deal with the root cause. If anyone believes tearing down statues will make the world more equitable and fair and less racist, is not thinking through the problem. It's letting the people with power, like politicians, like the Department of Defense, like this bureaucratic monster we have in the United States, we're letting them off the hook with something simple rather than dealing with root causes. Sure, for those who support such things, I'm certain that it feels good at the moment. It feels like something tangible is being done. It's probably an outward representation of a rebellion, a rejection of past injustices. And it's a visual. Things are changing. But let's face it, racism is a huge, complex problem and has existed everywhere on the planet Earth since the beginning of humanity. Fort Hood becoming Fort Cavazos, or Fort Bragg becoming Fort Liberty. Did it do anything the next day? Did a racist leave racism behind? Of course not. Of course not. Our history is precious, all of it, especially the ugliest parts. When we dive into the annals of American history, it's like stepping into this grand sweeping narrative that's filled with characters and events that evoke the entire spectrum of emotions. There's grand and great and beautiful, but there's also ugly, nasty, brutal things too, because well, we're humans, and humans do the greatest things and can simultaneously do the most horrific things too. It's natural, even human, to feel a pull towards like really nice stuff and amazing things and happy things and history and figures and incidents. It creates pride and happiness, and it evokes positive feelings when we look at the good side of things and avoid the evil, and that's well and good. But in all honesty, the good stuff doesn't teach us as much as the ugly, uncomfortable, or repulsive parts. These are where we really need to be reminded frequently. History isn't a tale crafted for our entertainment or approval or make us feel good. It's a raw, unvarnished chronicle of our collective past. It's indifferent to our likes and our dislikes. Our role is not to be the critic, swayed by personal feelings, but the learner, keen on extracting wisdom from the narrative. Allowing personal feelings to cloud our understanding of history is like viewing a masterpiece through tinted glass. The colors skew, the details obscure. When we ignore historical facts or people because we're so burrowed into safe spaces, every opinion is rooted in personal biases, and that leads to distorted narratives. This distorted view fuels conflict. It reinforces prejudice. It sows the seeds of distrust with institutions and between fellow citizens, and it hinders progress. We can level every single statue, remove every single Southern vestige remotely tied to the Civil War the second anyone is offended. We can ban any book, tweet, or video under the sun. But beyond the narcissistic virtue signaling, which gains some social justice points initially, this mindset of destroying or ignoring history opens the door to making the same mistakes repeatedly. History is a mess. Incredibly brave and valiant generals like Hood and Bragg, they were iconic soldiers who followed the warrior ethos, and yet they fought for the abhorrent concept of slavery. Can't make sense of it all in 2023. We can't understand how great men like this could fight to keep other humans in the bondage of slavery. Yet it happened. It did. Why did it happen? How could the country allow such a deep divide to occur? I mean, these are really important questions, not just for this discussion, but for us to ask our nation. Because you know what? If our country isn't careful and the divisions get deeper and deeper and deeper, well, could another civil war happen? Pray it doesn't. But history tells us that if we're not careful and we don't pay attention to things, it could happen again. Think about it. Hundreds of statues and monuments and military installations and changing of history books and all of this has been going on. Has it solved any of the racial divide? I don't think so. I don't see much evidence of the improvement of racial relations after these events. See, we need our history. We need our history intact. We need it intact not because we were Confederacy-loving racists. We need our history intact so we don't make the same mistakes today that led to the Civil War, which, by the way, is the most deadly conflict in American history with over 750,000 Americans killed and untold carnage wreaked upon civilians and cities. Multiply that by probably 100,000 times if such a war would happen today. The worst thing we can ever do, is try to sanitize our history, make it clean, make it less offensive. Jeez, I hate that word. And you and I need to be offended by some things that happen in history. We need to be ticked off about some of the dumb and stupid and horrific things so we don't do them again. What we don't need to do is erase things and rename things and destroy things because some silly simpleton bureaucrat went woke along with some politicians and weak-minded generals. So we're just okay to give up important military history because, as they would say, well, it's the right thing to do. No, it's not the right thing to do. It isn't the ethical thing to do, and it will do nothing for blacks or any minority that has ever experienced racism in this country to pretend like it didn't happen by sanitizing history. In fact, that's the worst thing we can do for race relations. So what I want to leave you with again is this. History is not here for you to like or dislike. History is here for you to learn from it. And if it offends you, even better, because then you're less likely to repeat it. History is not yours to erase or destroy. The more hard and challenging and bad it is, the more we need to study it, the more we need to be reminded of it. Whether that reminder is a book, a piece of sculpture, the name of a fort, or the name of a library, we don't honor people like Bragg or Hood because they were racist. We honor them for men and soldiers who fought in a horrific war that dang near destroyed the United States of America over trying to keep fellow humans in bondage because we took them from Africa and abused them for money and the color of their skin. It's horrific. So let's respect the history of the country and let's learn from it and how to do things better, more honorably, ethically, humanely. If we use history the right way, it is an indispensable tool we can use to improve. If we just sanitize it and destroy it, well, out of sight, out of mind. It's the worst thing we can do, just the worst. Offensive history is not just an indictment of our past screw-ups and mistakes, but it's a tool for shaping a better future. It's time for Americans to stop using the tool to beat ourselves up over a history that cannot be changed no matter what. When history offends us, it shakes us from our complacency. It forces us to confront harsh realities of our past and the consequences of our actions driven by prejudice, hatred, or ignorance. This discomfort, while unsettling, jolts us to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. It's a powerful deterrent reminding us of the cost of such actions and providing a moral compass that can guide our future decisions. I don't know where the cancerous idea emerged that everything bad from our past needs to be sanitized or removed from our psyche because it offends us. But now is the time we need to take back our ownership of the ills and embrace them so we will not repeat them. Thank you for listening in today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and leaves you with something you can take forward and utilize in your life. Or maybe gives you a new perspective and understanding. You know, if every single day we just pick up a little bit of insight, knowledge, or spark of curiosity, then by the end of the year, we'll be miles ahead of where we are right now. So I encourage you to continue nurturing your curiosity with an open mind and an open heart. If you found value in our discussions and want to stay connected, don't forget to hit the subscribe button wherever you listen to podcasts. By subscribing, you never miss an episode. Oh, and one more thing, consider subscribing to my newsletter. A link is provided in the show notes. I publish articles, discuss books I'm reading, provide curated content directly to your inbox, and it's always free 100% of the time. And just as I despise being spammed in my inbox, I promise I never sell your information and I won't abuse your time by sending you stuff constantly. So as we wrap up today's journey, remember that the pursuit of knowledge and understanding knows no bounds. Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep pushing the boundaries of your intellect. Together, we're creating a community that values ideas and fosters intellectual freedom. Until the next time, keep your mind open, your heart curious, and your spirit free. Thank you for being part of the Intellectual Freedom Podcast.